Hi, and welcome to this Tuesday's tip. Well, whenever you're watching it, it's my tip of the day. I am excited to share this one with you today because I'm living right in the middle of it. This is how to balance the crazy life that may be experiencing. When I'm recording this, it's May. And as we know, May can be like the most chaotic time, right? If you're a mother and you have kids in school or kids in any sort of sports or extracurricular activities, it is a crazy time for recitals, performances of every kind, end of year tournaments and things, end of year projects for school, carnivals, fundraisers, weddings, graduations like crazy. My wall's full of them right now. There's so much happening in May, not to mention the birthdays that we have. Mother's Day, Father's Day is right around the corner. It just never ends, right? So May can be one of the busiest times, worse than probably most months, I would say. But I think this tip will help with any phase of your life. So whether you're watching this in May, in January, in December, I think the tips that I'm going to share today are applicable no matter what the season is. Okay. So here are my 5 tips to just balancing the crazy when you feel the mayhem. And when I say mayhem, May especially, but anytime you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, these are for you. Okay. So here's my 5 tips. Number 1 would be look at your schedule at a glance. On Sunday night, I do this every Sunday. I pull out my calendar. I live by my phone. That's where my calendar mostly is, but I also have a paper version that has other information. So I look at my calendar mostly on my phone to see what appointments do I have this week? What recitals might be happening this week? What might I be double booked for? So looking at the schedule at a glance and communicating that with my husband, my children. So whether you have others in your home, look at their schedules too, coordinate together and see what is it that's what's going on this week. How can we make sure that we're all covered in all areas? So review the schedule with others that have those things that need to be scheduled. Husband, especially for me, do you have important work meetings? Kids, do you have important tests that are this week? Do you have to stay after school and make up any assignments? Do you have any extra dance recitals that I'm not, or rehearsals that I'm not aware of? So just communicating with the family, what is going on throughout the week. Okay, so that's tip number 1, review the week at a glance. Preferably for me, it works really well on Sunday. You choose your day, but there should be at some point a week in a glance view. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be each night before you go to bed, review what's happening the next day. This has been essential for me because I forget. I mean, even though I'm reviewing it Sunday, you'd think I would have a clear picture, but you just don't want to have any missed appointments the next day. You want to be able to plan appropriately. When do I need to set my alarm? When do I need to be totally ready for? Are there things happening that I forgot? So review each day the night before so that you know what's going on the following day. That will really help decrease your chaos and also just help you focus on what's next, what's happening next. So tip number 3 would be meal plan accordingly. This one can be a little bit trickier. I recognize, especially if you do your shopping on the weekend, you might have to do your weekend at a glance on a Friday or a Saturday to see what's happening the following week, but plan your meals accordingly. I'm not one that loves fast food. I don't like the expense of it. For the health reasons, I don't like to take my kids out to get fast food. So if I know we have a busy day that's on the go, I'm either doing something ahead of time or it's a quick grab and go type meal. Our favorite go-to is the orange chicken from Costco. You get the orange chicken, you have rice and a salad or vegetable on the side. They can eat it quickly. You can be on the road and they get the balanced meal of a protein, carb, and fruits and vegetables. So that's our kind of go-to quick meal, but we plan accordingly. My freezer has meals that, yes, might not be as nutritious as a home cooked meal around the table. And that's what I'd always prefer if I can, but sometimes it's just not realistic and you got to do the best you can. And that means a freezer meal that's super fast. So plan your shopping and your meal prep accordingly so that you know exactly what's happening throughout the week. So next would be self-care. This is one I really feel strongly about because self-care is something that really, if you're not taking care of you first, how can you take care of the rest of your family or the people you work with, that you'll be snappier. Take care of you first, whatever that looks like. You might be one that likes to have some alone time, maybe a walk, read a book, listen to a podcast. Maybe it's something that costs money, like to get massages, pedicures. It doesn't always have to be about what costs money. Me, I have a morning routine that I stick with faithfully. And when I miss it, I recognize it. I know that, man, I've got to take care of me. So whatever that looks like for you, take care of you first before you go out and tackle everything else for the day. Because if your needs are met, you're going to show up in such a better way. So self-care, I've got a whole nother blog post on that and even a YouTube video on it as well. So you can search for other resources on my website or here in the blog about the morning routine if you need tips on how to have an effective morning routine. And number 5 would be prioritize. Prioritize what is happening, because you most definitely, at least in my experience, I cannot do it all. I cannot cover everything that's on my schedule, on the agenda in any given time. There's things that I have to say no to. So prioritize. Just think in every situation, what is the next best thing? That's some advice I was given back in December. Was the next best thing, because I was feeling some overwhelm. I was like, man, how am I going to do all this? And the message was, what's the next best thing? And think about that in every circumstance, because if you have a dance recital and then you have a neighborhood baby shower, those two things, it's pretty easy to see what's the most important. It's unfortunate you can't make the baby shower, but that's okay. You can drop a gift off later. There's other things you can do to make you feel like you don't need to be in 10 places at once. So prioritize what's the most important thing, what's the next best thing, and just recognize you can't do it all, and that's 100% okay. People know that this is the crazy month. So just hang in there and do what you can do best, and know that it's okay to not be at everything all the time. So prioritize what's next and keep telling yourself, what is the next best thing in this moment? So that's my 5 tips for today, for May, but for any month. Like I said, this can honestly be a tip for any point in your life. So I'll just review them really quickly. So number 1 was review the week at a glance. Number 2 would review the next day at a glance. So every night before you go to bed, review what's happening for the next day so you don't miss any appointments. Number 3 would be meal prep accordingly. Plan your meals appropriately, have some backup easy meals so that you don't have guilt of throwing your kids a pack of fruit snacks for dinner that night. So that would be number 3. Number 4 would be your self-care. Take a look of what are you doing to take care of you and meet your own needs so that you don't fall into the overwhelm and burnout. And number 5 would be prioritize. Just see what is the most important for you in this moment right now, and let the other things go, because no one's going to die. No one will die if you miss a dance recital. Sometimes my cute neighbor actually said, I had a dance recital and high school graduation on the same evening. And I picked the graduation. And you know what? Graduation happens once. No one's going to die by missing the recital, right? They've worked hard all year, but there's other ways we can see them perform and support them in other ways. So prioritize and just know it's okay to miss things here and there. I hope this was helpful. If I can lend any support in any way, shape, or form, I would love to. I've got some time blocking exercises as well. Lots of resources to help you stay on top of it, organized. And my whole motto is progress, definitely not perfection. I'm still working on it every day of my life. So have a great day. Take care. And if there's anything I can do, please comment. Love to help you. Thanks.